Okay, so yeah, just had a laptop crash, which is what it is. I'm not done with the Chariot here. But we have another set of cards here. Hang on a second. Okay, so move this a bit. We still have these two cards, right? So where I left off, I believe, was I was speaking about the shield around the dreidel here, the winged dreidel, right? And the golden orb represents, golden wisdom, it represents alchemical gold, which is what? The unification of the subconscious, the conscious, the process that then begins when the subconscious and the conscious minds are brought into proper unison, and that process is to bring spiritual flight, right? So if we're talking about brain hemispheres, although your subconscious and your conscious mind are not scientifically proven to exist in either hemisphere solely, but symbolically, if we're talking about brain hemispheres, when you bring the subconscious and the conscious mind into unison, that's when the seat of the soul begins to spread like wings, correct? And that golden disc in the center is actually the pineal gland, or the third eye, so to speak, which is activated and can see and know once the subconscious and the conscious are married properly within the mind, in unison. The shield around the dreidel is necessarily depicting symbolically your need to shield this process, your need to protect and care for the unison of the subconscious and the conscious. For without that shield, meaning if you speak, illuminate, if you effectively demonstrate to others or speak about it to others, this process that you are, this process, this marrying of this bringing into unison of, if you speak about that to others, or just by happenstance in the world, day-to-day life, others might then begin to try to throw you off. They might then begin to try to disrupt your engines, so to speak. They might try to begin to disrupt by way of deliberately screwing with your life, deliberately screwing with you, intruding upon your life. They might do it because they don't believe in what you're doing. They don't believe that you are who you are. They don't believe that that this is a process that you say you're doing and that actually means anything to them or exists to them. It's not important to them. And they might deliberately try to throw you off, or they might do it subconsciously, just by way of being around you and your presence. You might encounter a circumstance where people don't really realize that they're actually going through some sort of subconscious process of trying to disrupt you in your own operating efficiency, correct? So the shield is quite literally the need to guard this marrying of from the world and from others who either would deliberately try to disrupt this or would, subconsciously attempt to disrupt this, or even just environmentally. You might find yourself in prolonged life circumstances where it might be damn near impossible to have this, to have this, this way of living, to have this marrying of conscious thought. It might be damn near impossible to maintain it just by way of environmental proximity to either your lifestyle, to the lifestyles of others who are around you, to your environment. You have to be incredibly protective of it because it can fall like a dreidel falls. And then begins the process of starting this engine again, because once the dreidel falls, you have to find a way to start it again. You have to find a way to effectively bring it into motion again, which isn't the easiest thing to do. And actually, where I left off before the last video was cut short because of my laptop, was with the square on the chest. And I mean, what does the square represent? I mean, it still represents the earth, effectively. It represents the earth, the cube of the earth, the cube of the earth. Earth is a cube. It represents the earth as a cube, right? So why is that in the center of the chest? It's to ground the heart, right? It's to bring that which is below, symbolically, into unison with what you care about, which is where the heart rests, right? And where the heart rests is the engine of the body, right? So effectively, what's being symbolized there with the square, or it's a cube, effectively. It's a square, but it is a cube. What's being symbolized there is bringing into true care the plane of the earth, which is also further symbolized by the green chest plate. Green being the color of what? Of care. And the reason why that's the other part of, I kind of alluded to it, the other part of why that's being symbolized here is you are effectively being demonstrated the metaphysical soul, right? And not only the metaphysical soul, but how to properly construct and operate it through symbolism here. That's what the Chariot card is, effectively. And you're also being demonstrated then how to utilize that while you exist on a physical plane, while also turning your back to the physical realm, which is exactly what he's doing. So he's keeping in heart the physical plane, the physical kingdom. He's keeping in heart while he's turning his back to it and moving on into other things. That's the totality of symbolism in this card, aside from the actual, the wand here, which looks a lot like the other wand. It's not the same. It looks a lot like it, though. Why is it different? Well, it's different because this symbolizes what? This is effectively his steering wheel. You know, where he points it, the chariot goes. Correct? This is his willful direction of the chariot. That's what this actually symbolizes. That's what it's utilized for. So if he points it forward, that's where he's going. If he points it to, you know, to the east, that's where he's going. That's directed will. That's what that symbolizes. Directed will. Right? So if the magician card and the wand in the magician card symbolizes, what it symbolizes is two things, effectively. It symbolizes the marriage of, in a rudimentary way, and the knowledge of that which is above is like that which is below. So as within, so without. It also represents the, the masculine will, both in upright and reflective principle. So effectively, the magician card is kind of like a macrocosmic look. It's kind of like a microcosmic look. Hello. How are you? Not too bad. Would you like me to get out of your way for a moment? I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, no worries.